It's time for the news.
Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman is paying a working and inspection visit in the eastern provinces of Galma, Annaba and Al-Tarf at the head of a ministerial delegation. Member countries of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have postponed a meeting scheduled to take place today to examine the deployment of an intervention force in Niger. And the death toll from wildfires that destroyed swathes of Hawaii this week has risen to 80, Maui country official said Friday. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail from Radio Algeria International. First, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman is starting today a working and inspection visit to the eastern provinces of Galma, Annaba and Al-Tarf at the head of a ministerial delegation. In the province of Al-Tarf, the Prime Minister called for the activation of the maintenance units for the East-West Highway as well as the preservation of this vital project. On the occasion, Mr. bin Abdurrahman inaugurated the last section of the East-West Highway linking the municipality of Dra'an in the province of Al-Tarf to the bordering Tunisian municipality of Raml al-Souq, and which stretches over 83 kilometers. The Algerian premier also indicated that the government is implementing the program of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmadjid Tebboune, regarding the transport segment through railway projects linking the south to the north of the country. Let's listen to the Prime Minister.
The presentation of the explanatory video of this tremendous project actually constitutes one of the structuring projects in railway transportation for mining projects in Algeria. In addition to Bled El Hedba project, we also have the Garj Bilet, which is considered a priority by the government and the program of the President of the Republic in fulfillment of the objective that we all aspire to, and which is the optimal exploitation of Algerian resources. We should support these resources with basic infrastructure which allow us to better exploit these projects.
Meanwhile, Ayman bin Abdurrahman insisted on the respect of projects' completion deadlines in addition to undertaking preliminary studies for all these projects.
The amount of these projects exceeds 400 billion Algerian dinars, therefore jobs and wealth should be created in parallel. This is something very important. We wish you plenty of success in this achievement and stress that you should be very careful in complying with the deadlines.
It's worth noting that during this visit, the Prime Minister will inspect several infrastructure projects as well as vital projects in the sector of public works, energy and industry. The High Council of the Judiciary, meeting Thursday during its first 2023 ordinary session, has adopted the draft reshuffle of 780 magistrates. The Council said in a communique that it examined and adopted during the session chaired by its Vice President and President of the Supreme Court, Tahar Mamouni, the draft reshuffle of 788 magistrates presented by the Permanent Office in accordance with the objective criteria set out in the aforementioned article, including 156 promotions to qualified positions, including 33 presidents of courts, 32 public prosecutors, and 91 investigative judges. And a memorandum of understanding has been signed in Jakarta between the Algerian Constitutional Court and its Indonesian counterpart with a view to creating a framework for cooperation and exchange of expertise in the field of constitutional justice and law between the two countries. A communique of the Council said that the document was co-signed by the President of the Constitutional Court, Mr. Omar Belhaj, and the President of the Indonesian Constitutional Court, Mr. Anwar Osman, on the sidelines of the International Conference of Presidents of Courts organized in Jakarta on the theme Strengthening Democracy Through Constitutional Courts. In a speech delivered during the conference entitled The Role of the Constitutional Court in the Promotion of Democratic Principles, Past, Present and Future, Mr. Belhaj expounded the evolution of constitutional justice in Algeria and the steps taken in terms of enshrining the principles of democratic governance and the rule of law. The member countries of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have postponed a meeting scheduled to take place today to examine the deployment of an intervention force in Niger. Military sources said the meeting of the Army Chiefs of Staff of the organization's member states due to take place in Accra, Ghana, was postponed sine die for technical reasons. The same sources indicated that the Army Chiefs of Staff must report to their leaders on the best options to be taken to give a concrete form to their decisions to activate and deploy a force. However, the head of the ECOWAS, President Tinubu Bola of Nigeria, said he hoped a peaceful settlement could be reached, reiterating that the recourse to force would be the last option to be considered by the organization. 2 days ago, the leaders of the ECOWAS agreed on a possible military intervention during a summit meeting held in Abuja, Ghana. The chairperson of the African Commission or Union Commission, Moussa Faki Mahamat, has expressed concerns about the conditions of detention of Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum. Faki Mahamat said that such treatment against a democratically elected president through a regular electoral process is unacceptable, calling on the entire international community to unite on all its efforts to save the life and the moral and physical integrity of President Mohamed Bazoum. The UN and the European Union have also expressed their concern over the deterioration of Bazoum's detention conditions, calling for his immediate and unconditional release. The democratically elected President of the Republic of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, has been held since the end of July by members of his guard. Several countries and international organizations have called for the restoration of constitutional order in the country. The United Nations says the 4-month-long conflict in Sudan has forced about 4 million people to flee their homes at a time when over 20 million people are confronted to a food security crisis. The UN Food Programme said over 20 million people, representing about 42% of the population, were facing a serious situation of hunger that could turn into a situation of famine for 6.3 million of them. It noted that the conflict, whose dynamic has become more and more complex, continued to extend since last April, making the access to those in need of a vital humanitarian aid more and more difficult. In this respect, the UN Organization for Food and Agriculture stressed that those families which were in need of a humanitarian aid were facing an imminent food crisis. However, it said that it managed to distribute culture seeds to about 1 million farmers in 15 states with the aim of meeting the needs of cereals of millions of people across Sudan. Now the UN has hailed the release of 5 members of its security personnel who were abducted on February 11, 2022 in Yemen. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed satisfaction at their release and recalled that abduction was an inhuman crime that nothing can justify. He said that those behind such actions might be held responsible for their crimes and expressed his solidarity with the other hostages still detained in Yemen. And Armenia has urged the UN Security Council to hold a crisis meeting on Nagorno-Karabakh, citing a deteriorating humanitarian situation after accusing Azerbaijan of blocking supplies to the disputed region. The Caucasus neighbors have been locked in a dispute over the enclave, which is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan since the 80s and fought 2 wars over the territory. Mher Margaryan, Armenia's permanent representative to the UN, said in the letter that the Armenian government demands the intervention of the UN Security Council as the main organ for safeguarding global security. For months, Yerevan has accused Baku of stopping traffic through the Lachin Corridor, a short mountainous road linking Armenia to Armenia-populated settlement in the breakaway region of Nagorno-Karabakh. In his letter, Margaryan evoked serious shortages of food, medicine, and fuel in the majority Armenian-populated region of Azerbaijan and cuts in electricity and gas supplies. The 2 neighbors have been unable to reach a lasting peace settlement despite mediation efforts by the European Union, United States, and Russia. The Russian army said it had thwarted a Ukrainian missile attack over the bridge of Crimea in the eastern part of the Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry assured that the missile that was intercepted by the anti-air defense batteries caused neither victims nor casualties. Earlier, the Russian Defense Ministry announced having shot down 20 Ukrainian drones that were targeting the peninsula. The attack has caused no casualties. In Pakistan, Senator Anwar al-Haq Kakara of the least populated province of Balochistan in the southwest part of the country, has been designated interim prime minister pending the holding of elections slated for November. At the end of a meeting with outgoing premier Shehbaz, the head of the opposition Raja Riaz Ahmed said that they agreed that the prime minister must represent the smallest province so that the claims of the smallest could be met. The new prime minister who should lead the country until the holding of general elections succeeded Imran Khan, who was dismissed last year. Recently, he was sentenced and imprisoned for corruption charges. And finally, the death toll from wildfires that destroyed swaths of Hawaii this week has risen to 80, Maui country officials said on Friday. Governor Josh Green had previously warned the death toll would likely rise as search and rescue operations continue. The death toll was put at 67 earlier in the day. Strong winds from Hurricane Dora were to blame for the deadly wildfires destroying parts of Lahaina, a tourist spot on Maui Island. The wildfires are the state's deadliest natural disaster in decades, according to local media reports. Meanwhile, Hawaii's chief legal officer said he was opening a probe into the handling of devastating wildfires this week as criticism grows of the official response. And with this, we come to the end of this news bulletin for today. Time now for a weekly program, starting with my colleague Asya Bakar, and it will be followed by another program by my colleague Jamal Silmani. As for me, I'll meet you again tomorrow for a fresh edition of our news bulletin in English. Until then, stay tuned to Radio Algeria International, and bye-bye for now.
Algeria's literature has been largely influenced by the ancient Romans, the Arabs, French, Spanish, and indigenous tribes. Contemporary Algerian literature shows a strong divide between French and Arabic. Many well-known and widely translated literary figures have come out of Algeria, including poets, novelists, essayists, and playwrights. Algerian literary works will give you great insight into the perceptions, culture, and issues faced by the people of Algeria. Katib Yassine is one of the most recognized and influential writers in Algeria's literary history. Born in 1929, Katib Yassine became well known for both his plays and novels written in Arabic dialect and French. His support of Algeria's national cause is clearly seen in works such as Nejma, which is set in the time of the war against France. Other books written by Katib Yassine include Boucherie de l'Espérance, Le poète comme un boxeur, and Parce que c'est une femme. Mohammed Deeb wrote more than 30 novels, many short stories, children's books, and poems in his career. He is renowned for his innovative works which relate to the 20th century of Algeria's history. Many of his literary works were centered on the battle for independence in Algeria. Albert Camus was also a renowned literary figure in Algeria during the 20th century. A philosopher and author, Camus received a Nobel Prize for Literature in 1957 and was recognized as having great influence on absurdism. His works include novels, short stories, non-fictional books, and plays, such as The Stranger, La Mort Heureuse, and also Neither Victim Nor Executioner. Assia Jabbar is an Algerian woman novelist, filmmaker, and translator. Many of her works focus on the lives and issues faced by Algeria's women. Assia Jabbar received much recognition when she was elected to the French Academy in June 2005 and have placed her amongst North Africa's most influential writers. It is clear from the above examples that Algeria's literature and literary figures have played a vital role in this fascinating North African country and exert an influence far beyond its borders. Today we will introduce you to Mohammed Tamam, who is remembered for his artistic skill and talent, particularly in the style of miniature painting and illumination. Visitors to the National Museum of Fine Arts in Algiers will have the opportunity of viewing several beautiful examples of this talented Algerian artist's work, which includes themes from his childhood, still life portrayals of traditional Algerian items, spectacular landscapes, and insightful portraits. His illumination works, decoration of texts and manuscripts, embraced folk art and Arab Muslim art with his own unique flair. Born in the Kasbah of Algiers on February 23, 1915, Mohammed Tamam discovered his artistic talent at an early age when he attended an exhibition of works by Algerian artists, including Omar Rassam. Between 1928 and 1936, he attended the School of Traditional Arts, where he received tuition in various artistic mediums, including sculpture and woodwork, and received a number of prizes. He also tried his hand at ceramics in the studio of Mahieddine Sharad. In 1934, Tamam exhibited 6 of his artworks at the 34th exhibition of the Society of Algerian Artists, 3 miniatures and 3 paintings. From 1934 through to 1938, he participated in a number of exhibitions, including the 13th Exhibition of Artistic Union of North Africa and a solo exhibition in Algiers. He also received a scholarship at the École Nationale Supérieure des Arts Décoratifs in Paris. In 1941, he received a silver medal at the 14th Exhibition of Artistic Union of North Africa, and in 1944 exhibited 12 of his artworks in an exhibition organized by Omar Rassam and the Franco-Muslim Circle of Algiers. In 1946, in a tour organized by Mohammed Rassam, Tamam exhibited his works in Stockholm and Oslo. In 1960, together with a group of North African artists, he exhibited his works at the Club des 80 in Paris. In addition to teaching the artistic styles of miniature and illumination at the National School of Fine Arts of Algiers, Mohammed Tamam was appointed as curator of the National Museum of Antiquities during the War of National Liberation, and remained in that position until his death on July 15, 1988. Artworks depicting his unique artistic style remains as a testament to his talent.
Welcome to your weekly program, Destination Algeria. I'm Jamel Semeni. There are a number of great destinations in Algeria just waiting to be discovered. A curious mixture of cultures and influences, Algeria has something interesting to see in just about every city. The country is also the first largest on the African continent, so you can be sure that there are plenty of towns and cities to visit. Let's visit Algeria's fascinating destinations, you and I, together. Considered as a branch of anthropology, archaeology is broadly defined as a study of humanity and human societies. Archaeologists put in a lot of time and effort uncovering relics of the past that either prove and extend what is already known about the development of societies in various countries, or in revealing aspects of human history that have previously not been known. Algeria is a treasure trove of evidence indicating human occupation of this North African region, going back to the Paleolithic and Neolithic eras. Archaeological discoveries of note include a significant number of megalithic monuments in the Great Atlas region, and Meshrasfa Peninsula of Algeria, not too far from Jelfa and Tiaret. Megaliths are large stone structures believed to have been built in the Neolithic era. These monumental structures were put together without using any type of mortar, and it is generally unclear as to what purpose they served. Stonehenge in the United Kingdom is readily recognized as being the most famous example of megaliths. The shoal mounds of the Capsian culture discovered in the Maghreb region, which includes Algeria, date back to the Mesolithic era. The manner in which the Capsians buried their dead suggests that they had a belief in the afterlife. Decorative items, ostrich eggshell beads and seashell beads were used to make necklaces and other decorative items. Although no consensus has been reached as to their origins, linguistic historians believe that Capsians feature in the ancestry of Berber-speaking North Africans. At the time, the Capsian people roamed the area, likely between 8000 BC and 4000 BC. It was believed to have been a savanna region rich in wildlife. This is supported by cave paintings found in a number of places, including Tassili, Niger, located in the north of Tamanrasset. Moreover, flints from the Paleolithic era have been discovered in a number of places, including Kolea in Algeria's Tipaza province and the Tlemcen province. Of special note to those interested in archaeology and history are the mausoleums of Medrassen near Betna and Jidars south of Tiaret. The former established as the tomb of Berber Numidian king Imedrassen, who ruled between 300 and 200 BC, with the latter consisting of a group of 13 mausoleums likely constructed between the 300 to 600 of our Common Era. There are also numerous reminders of Roman rule to be found in Algeria, with fascinating ruins, monuments, and archaeological sites to explore. Certainly, Algeria has a lot to offer to those willing to scratch beneath the surface, and visitors will appreciate the work that archaeologists have done in investigating the distant past of this intriguing North African country. In the second part of our weekly broadcast Destination Algeria, we invite you to discover the ancient Berber kingdom of Numidia, existed between 202 BC and 46 BC in what is now Algeria and part of modern-day Tunisia, North Africa. Mohammed Barazwan will tell you more in this report.
With a sparkling Mediterranean Sea to its north and the unforgiving Sahara Desert to the south, Numidia had the Roman-ruled province of Mauritania on its western border and the province of Africa, which was also under Roman rule, to the east. Although the ancient kingdom of Numidia is no longer in existence, evidence of its history can be found in the area. The people of Numidia, referred to as Numidians, were made up of two troubled groups, with the Masili located in the west and the Masili in the east. During the Second Punic War, also known as the War against Hannibal, 2018 BC, 201 BC, the Numidians were split by tribe in their allegiance with the opposing groups. Under the King Gala, the Masili formed an alliance with Carthage, with the Masili supporting their king Syphax in an alliance with Rome. When Gala was replaced by Masinisa as king of the Masili, he changed his allegiance with Rome, with Syphax of the Masili falling in with the Carthaginians. The Romans proved to be victorious and awarded the conquered territory of Numidia to their ally Masinisa of the Masili. The territory remained in the family when, after the death of Masinisa, his son Micipsa took control. Upon his death in 118 BC, Micipsa's two sons, Himpsal I and Ardebal, along with the legitimate grandson of Masinisa, Jugurtha, began a battle for control. Jugurtha had Himpsal assassinated, leading to open war between Jugurtha and Ardebal, with the latter looking to Rome for assistance when beaten in battle. Roman officials attempted to settle the dispute by dividing the territory in two, assigning the western section to Jugurtha and the remainder of Numidia to Ardebal. Peace was temporary, however, and the conflict between the two adversaries soon resumed, this time with the Romans being dragged into it. Following a protracted battle, Jugurtha was eventually taken to Rome as a captive in chains. Following his death, the region changed hands numerous times until eventually being incorporated into Roman territory during the rule of the legendary Julius Caesar. The capital city at the time was Cirta, now modern-day Constantine, renamed after Roman Emperor Constantine the Great, who reunited the split province on Numidia. In addition to Constantine, formerly Cirta, cities in modern Algeria that date back to the time of Numidia include the port of Skikda, formerly Rusicada, Annaba, formerly Hippo Regius, and Tebessa, formerly Tevest. The territory is studded with evidence of Roman influence in the form of remains of buildings and settlements, as well as superbly constructed roads that gave the Romans the advantage in many a battle for power in the past.
With this, we come to the end of our weekly program, Destination Algeria. More about Algeria, its history, culture, people, music, and fascinating lands will be next week. Same day, same frequencies.